What's going on, everybody? This is relationship expert Terry Duran, and tonight I'm gonna be talking about the difference between a disrespect and a misunderstanding. So I'm gonna give everybody a chance to get logged in. All the people that are watching on Instagram, all those that are watching on YouTube, I appreciate the love. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my page, share it with your friends, screenshot my posts. I want to spread the information and try to help as many relationships as possible. So the more women we can enlighten with how men really think and operate, the better off everybody will be. Because there seem to be a lot of misconceptions and a lot of misunderstandings that get treated as disrespect. So I'm going to go ahead and break down the topic so that y'all can have a thorough understanding on how to differentiate between the two. Now, y'all know how I do. I went ahead and screenshot the definitions just so we can all be on the same page. So the word disrespectful means showing a lack of respect or courtesy, impolite. All right. So when we're talking about disrespect, that means a lack of respect. That means somebody is aware of what the expectation of respect is. For example, being called by your name or your title, or being treated in a way that's routine, that they do when they're not in a bad mood. There's not a problem. It's easy to identify disrespect because it's intentional. Somebody has to intentionally disrespect you. Somebody unknowingly doing something that offends you, that's a misunderstanding. That requires a conversation. That requires dialogue so that they can figure out why you was in your feelings and they can explain to you why they did what they did. So that there's no malicious intent. They're not doing it to play you or make you feel some type of way. It was a misunderstanding. Misunderstandings happen all the time. You could say something and they didn't hear everything you said. So your entire message could be miscommunicated by one simple slip of a word. You could have accidentally said should instead of shouldn't. Things like that happen all the time in communication. That's why effective communication requires multiple examples of feedback, body language, voice tone, follow-up questions, things of that nature, to make sure that we on the same page. Because in the communication process, it's possible for a person to get off track at any moment. It's possible for somebody to have a different meaning for a word. It's possible for somebody to misinterpret something. Or, as I'm always talking about, make an assumption. All of these things happen throughout basic conversation. They happen between men, they happen between people at work, they happen between siblings, etc. And majority of the time, communication can be used to resolve the issue, because most disagreements between people are misunderstandings. There's somebody overreacting or getting really upset over something where that wasn't necessarily the person's intention. Think about the cases where people fight or get in shootouts because you stepped on my shoe in the club. It's a misunderstanding. The person's not walking around stumping, intentionally trying to smash new Jordans. It just inadvertently happened. And most reasonable people will accept my bad, bro. That's sufficient for most people. But some people don't see it that way. So this is what happens when people don't have basic communication skills and basic courtesy. You know what I mean? It's always possible for there to be some type of misunderstanding. And that's why having passive aggressive behavior is so problematic. You upset, you pissed off, you feel like they disrespected you, but you're not getting any clarity. You're not asking any follow-up questions. You're not making sure that that's actually what happened. You just gonna treat it like that's the fact and operate and make decisions based off that. That's why your relationships are always fucked up. That's why you have ineffective communication. That's why your mate stops trying to communicate and fix problems with you. Because one of the reasons men get along so well is because we sort misunderstanding. Most men sort misunderstandings out. Dude gets in his feelings or he's upset about something. Other guy can sense by his body language or something that he said that there's some aggressiveness or some tension. And he's like, yo, bro, what's the problem? Giving him an opportunity to state what he's upset about. And if they're both reasonable adults, a conversation can be had and a fight can be avoided. So the same thing applies for a relationship. This is why I'm constantly telling you to stop making assumptions. Because when you just take your first thought and treat it like it's absolute fact, he meant to disrespect me. That was so disrespectful. So now what if he didn't have no clue you felt you were disrespected? I talk all the time about how differently the male and female value system is. How women trip and make a big deal out of things that are perfectly normal, things that we see happen naturally among men every single day. There are women that treat it like it's a felony. A man noticing a very attractive woman. We all know that a very attractive woman can walk in a room full of 100 people and 70-80% of those people are going to notice her as soon as she walks in within their line of sight. But there are women that will treat a man for noticing a beautiful woman like he disrespected her. It's the type of shit that I be talking about. Relationship killing behavior. All right, so now let's look up the definition of misunderstanding. A misunderstanding is a failure to understand something correctly. A failure to understand something correctly. So when you make an assumption that he intentionally did something to piss you off, or he intentionally did something to make something inconvenient for you, all you're doing is making an assumption, treating it like it's fact, and creating tension and problems over it. Instead of simply asking the questions, simply asking or figuring out what their intention was. What information did they have at the time that they made their decision or they did the action? If y'all would spend a little time doing that research, the way that y'all search through these motherfucking phones, your relationships would be a lot better off. But you don't. You jump to conclusions. You make decisions. You finalize scenarios without gathering information. You ignore things that you don't want to hear. You don't want to pay attention to. You don't want to hear it when you're wrong, when you misunderstood something, when he's correcting you on something. The women that behave like this, those are the problems men have when they try to sort these things out. The women that feel like that call everything they don't like disrespectful. Everything somebody did is they disrespected them. Like, man, ain't nobody in life that's just going around getting disrespected every single day. If you have everybody that you come in contact with intentionally coming at you with malice, anger, and hatred to disrespect you, you are truly doing something wrong in your life. You are really doing something wrong. But we see it in my comments all the time. I'll give a thorough breakdown of something that men do that's perfectly normal, that doesn't cause any problems, and there are women that will call it disrespectful. It's disrespectful to follow a model. That's what social media is designed for, moron. You're supposed to follow what you like. Would you rather him follow big dicks? Would you rather him follow a whole bunch of men? So you can be thinking that he's gay? Like, what are y'all really saying? Since when in history did men not like looking at attractive women? That's the logic that y'all come at men with, though. And you're disrespecting our relationship because you like chicks that twerk. He's a fucking man. I know you heard of Playboy, Penthouse, Hustler. I know you've seen strip clubs before. So this is not a new phenomenon that men like looking at attractive women, but something that basic and that normal will get called disrespect by women that cannot differentiate between the two. So, two very clear differences. A misunderstanding is when somebody miscommunicates something or did not get the communication the way it was intended for you to be sent. That can happen in texting, through a typo. It can happen through autocorrect. It could happen from them you can misstate something. Everybody done said something, you've been talking or typing and you said something that didn't come out the way that your brain intended it. Happens all the time. That's one of the reasons a lot of people can't freestyle, right? Because they can't control what's going to come out next. So these type of things happen in communication all the time. And you have to be willing and able to identify them when there's a misunderstanding. Not automatically assume that the person that loves you and is trying to build a life with you is taking every single opportunity that they ever have in life to disrespect you to the utmost power. Like, imagine what type of mentality you have to think that the person that you love is doing everything they possibly can to disrespect you. Everything they do is disrespecting you. That means that you're the problem. Your definition of disrespect, the way that you apply the word disrespect. I say all the time, it's the most overused word in the female vocabulary. Disrespect. Everything a man does that they don't like is disrespect. They complain about disrespect. Oh, you disrespecting us. You disrespect this. But have absolutely no problem being as disrespectful as possible when they're voicing a complaint about men. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why men don't pay no attention to these type of complaints. Y'all are crying wolf so much that when you actually are disrespected, people are skeptical or questionable about it. Because y'all misdiagnose disrespect all the time. Y'all call everything disrespect. And that's simply not the case. Most men are not sitting around think, man, what can I do to disrespect my girl? What is the best way to disrespect her today? That's not what men are sitting around doing. Women sit around and plan how to piss a man off and how to hurt a man. What's the best way to teach him a lesson? Y'all do that type of shit. I have never had a guy come to me, hey bro, help me come up with a plan on how to hurt my girl's feelings. What can we do to make her feel disrespected? Never, not even once have I heard a man say anything remotely close to that. Most men don't get off on creating chaos with a woman. That's idiotic behavior. But men get sick and tired of having to defend basic things that they do. That's the reason men follow my page. They don't follow my page to learn. They follow my page because I voice the things that they really think and feel. They can screenshot it. They can reference the girls they fucking with to come follow me. They can engage in the conversation. That's what men use my page for, ladies. That's what they do it for. It's not to argue with y'all. It's not to all these assumptions that y'all come up with. It's not because they hate women or none of this extra shit. It's because finally they have someone that tells it like it really is. That explains that men are not out here being as fucked up as y'all assume that they are. Dispelling a lot of the myths and misconceptions that y'all have about men in general. Telling y'all how y'all fuck up and what we don't like about y'all in a way that I'm not really concerned how you feel about the message. You can either take it or leave it. But notice every single thing I post, there are men these are men from all over the country agreeing with it, acknowledging that they felt the same way or that they've experienced the same things. Acknowledging that the women that they've dealt with currently or in the past are doing the exact same behaviors or believing the exact same things that I'm posting about. I've been doing this for years now. If I was telling y'all some made up fake shit, wouldn't somebody be clowning me? Wouldn't they be able to screenshot my shit and talk about how dumb it is? Notice my shit don't ever go viral. Y'all notice none of my posts ever go viral. Think about that. I'm always having to explain how stupid some ultra viral post done went. Notice that the real shit, the real nuggets that I drop over and over and over and over again never go viral. Because there isn't anybody that's going to be able to point out how dumb it sounds, how unrealistic it is, how foolish or fairy tale-ish it is. Because it's real shit. That's how you can tell when you have something that's authentic. Every time I go live, don't I talk about things that y'all actually see with the people that you know in real life? Scenarios that you've seen before. Behaviors that you've seen. Don't I screenshot definitions? I don't make them up. I didn't make up what disrespect and misunderstanding meant. All I did was take those definitions and explain them and break them down. Did I state anything that was unreasonable? No. Did I state anything that was unfair or show that I'm just biased for men? No. I broke down what men deal with when it comes to women and the pattern of behavior that we see and deal with when it comes to women. Very few women are able to differentiate between misunderstanding and disrespect. And it kills a lot of relationships. I can't explain to y'all how frustrating it is to deal with that. To have somebody that you are giving your resources to or actually being right by actually treats you as if everything you do is trying to hurt or disrespect them. It makes you just after a while be like, fuck it, I might as well stop trying to be faithful. I might as well make some moves and do what I gotta do. Those are the type of mentalities that men develop over time when they deal with shit like this. So I just wanted to break it down to y'all so that y'all can hear the difference. See, it's very easy to distinguish between the two. Somebody has to intentionally be disrespecting you. They have to know how you feel about something and do it anyway. That's why calling you a bitch is disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like, so before you just automatically assume that somebody did something to disrespect you. Oh, he unplugged my curling iron because he wanted to make me late. Nah, motherfucker. He just needed to plug in his clippers and he forgot to plug your shit back in. You know what I mean? Like, it's so simple. Men are not going around, what else can I do to create a problem? What else can I do so we can argue? We haven't argued in 3 hours. I need to do something to make up an argument. When do y'all ever see men operate like that? Do y'all see men argue like that when they together? No. Men can be together all day, drinking, smoking, and what are they going to argue over? Sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to have debates over shit like that. Comparisons. They're not going to be feeling like, oh, you drank the last beer. You disrespected me, bro. That's not how men operate. At least the type of men that y'all want to be with don't. That's childish behavior. That's the type of behavior that makes you not want to be around a person. And it will make a man fall out of love with you and get your ass cut off. So, I just wanted to drop some knowledge while I had the house to myself. So, those of y'all that are watching on Instagram, I appreciate the love. Those of you that are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the page. Give me a thumbs up. Share it with your friends so they can learn too. I'll go ahead and share the video on Instagram so that y'all can watch the replay. I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good one. Peace.